Truth seekers, welcome. It is Monday. And the question already is, what if I told you that the oldest part of your brain, the part that controls the fear, the power, and survival, wasn't even human? Yeah, you heard me. What if it wasn't even human? Now, that this primary force that we're talking about has been hijacked by those or the ones that's in power, using it to manipulate everything you do, think, and believe. So, as we go down this rabbit hole tonight, I'll say wait, because how much of my personal behavior is my choice, which was some of the thoughts that I had from the beginning. And then I said, well, Roderick, this probably changes everything I thought I knew about myself, because maybe somebody else is controlling some of these things. Who knows? Then you can ask yourself, are we being manipulated or controlled without even realizing it? So tonight we're going to go through this because I think it's important for us to understand where this rabbit hole leads. And so let's get down to it. First of all, I want to welcome each and every one of you here tonight. You could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, I want to serve you. First, I bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the 24 time zones that this show is being aired. Let's talk about some of the common beliefs when we come down to this. And as you know, we're talking about the reptilian brain, and we're talking about reptilian DNA. And I know oftentimes these two subjects is not going to fare well with a lot of people, especially when it moves from the brain of the reptilian brain that we all know and talk about. Then it moves over into the DNA side, which means what are you talking about, Willis? Right? But that's not it, because we're going to talk about that there's a lot of things happening out here, and we'll get into it. But we've all been told that the humans are rational beings, that's just how we operate. And we're separate from animals. And I think there's a lot of you who are animal lovers will more likely say, nah, maybe the animals got something a little different, but that we think and we analyze and we make choices based on our intelligence and not natural instincts, and our actions are driven by logic, reason, and mortality. So I'm just saying, what if all that is different? What if that the way things are happening is a little different than we know of? So, for example, if it's true, then the humans are in control of their own destiny, right? Everything is in our control. We wouldn't worry about the leadership. We wouldn't worry about politics. We wouldn't worry about, some of these bad people out there, because why? We control our own destiny. Nobody's keeping us down. But if it's false, then something much older, I feel, is pulling those strings. And if we ignore it, then I say we might be operating under the illusion. And the reason I'm saying this, and I'll get into it in a little bit, because I've been doing a lot of freaking studying, okay? This is one of the books, David Icke, and you see this little eye over here? That's a reptilian eye. And this is just one of many. I got another book that I've read into, The Global Conspiracy. In the middle, you see the reptilian eye when it comes down to it. And the list can go on, and I'll show you some of all of these books that I've been reading. And one of the things that has been an eye-opener is that these things are leading down a road that I don't think a lot of people is really cognitive of or can think about, so to speak, if I use the word properly. But at the end of the day, it is more mysterious than anything, but also eye-opening when you get down to it. So we're going to talk about the reptilian brain first. Then later on in the show, we're going to get down and connect those dots to let you know, I think the reptilian beings are here. They're controlling us. They're doing the things that they do. Right out in plain sight as that, to be example. But the question is why? Well, Roderick, why would you think that, or why would people believe that? Well, our history, which we will get into shortly, tells us that there is some coincidence that there's some reptilian stuff that's out here, and pretty much So I'll give a shout out to all of you that if you're in here, if you are moderators, say hello to all the mods. And I think we should have some new mods as well with us tonight and everything else. So, all right. So let me continue to go down this rabbit hole, or to begin the rabbit hole. Now, scientists say that the reptilian brain, now, why would they even talk about that? Why would people even associate the fact that we have a reptilian brain? You know, why would that even be necessary? And y'all give a shout out to Jarrell testing the Cash App. I love it. Appreciate you when we do this. And, you know, I think, you know, at the end of the day, that we got to look at the fact to say that why would the scientists use the context of us having a reptilian brain from the beginning? Everybody says that, right? And maybe because they know something that we know or don't want to discuss and talk about, but we will get into it. And they say it's the oldest part of our nervous system responsible. Listen here, is responsible for aggression, for us to say, hey, this is my territory, power, realistic behavior, or ritualistic behavior. Okay, so that is something you want to point out. It also prioritizes dominancy in social hierarchies and survival instinct over logic and morality. So can this speak for all of us? Absolutely. Do a lot of us have these type of things that's in our mind? So before you say, well, Roderick, they just making this up. They're not making it up. It's just a context to use. But they just really know this because they have done some backward studying, and they know that there are some kind of connections between all of this. Now, if this part of the brain is so dominant, how much of our decisions are actually ours? Now, in this show, we're going to talk about how they are controlling our thoughts, how the media, we talk about mind control here all the time, the monarch programming. We talk about the archons, who is there. So vision this triangle, not for all seeing eye, but for structure. To bottom is civilization or humanity, all of us being controlled by all these mechanisms. And then you have the middle section will be the illuminatis, will be the corporate entities, banks, all these different parts that are controlling how we feel, how we see things, how we interpret things. And then at the top of that will be those reptilian overlords that we've been seeing that exist. But yet, don't just take my word for it. Go back to some of the stuff that we're talking about. So you look at this particular book. This is Reptilian by Jordan Maxwell. He goes into a lot of spiritual, religious connotations in it. And that's the part that you have to be really thinking about. Then here's another one that I'm reading. This is about reptilians. And one of the best is this one, is Flying Serpents and Dragons. So I'm only saying to you that there's a lot of information out there. Then, of course, I'm still haven't even got a chance to go through. I'm still in the volume 1 of this 4-volume series of reptilian information and knowledge, 1,600 pages. But I will say this, one common denominator in all of this comes back down to the X factor is people, they don't been dealing with our DNA. These reptilians go back into history. But one of the things that we're going to talk about, especially toward the end, how do we turn the tables and begin to understand the mystery that has been kept from us to use the power for our own lives. But before we do that, we got to go through a little more of this reptilian brain and some of the other things that's out here. So if you're ready for this, we're ready to go. But anyway, I'll give a shout out real quick to all of you again in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you coming. Now, I have questions that I'm going to ask throughout the show tonight. I would love for some of you to get involved, and knowing that I know there's a little bit delay, but you can answer some of these questions so that we can get deep into those things. Now, let's first thing talk about 5 behaviors that keep us enslaved. Okay, we're going to talk about 5 reptilian behaviors. Now, why would we talk about this? Well, if they know these things, then they can use this against us, and they probably are using it against us. Some of these things you're going to be very familiar with. Some of these things is going to tap off you personally because you can get triggered the same way from some of this stuff. Number one out of this 5 is obsessive compulsive tendencies, rituals that dictate our lives. Sometimes we do that. There's rituals that we all go through, or we think is right. We think this is it, and we do this on a daily basis, maybe hourly. Oh, maybe I go out and do this, or maybe I need to think like this, or maybe I need to see the world like this. But remember, in some of our past shows that we talk about loosh. If you remember, loosh is dark energy that they want us to create for their food. Now, if you start looking closely, because once you start seeing this, you can't unsee it, okay? And I've always said your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. My goal here is to give you enough information you can see, enough information you can hear, enough information you can read or go look up to give you the possibilities that the reptilian agenda is all around us so that you go the extra mile to confirm your suspicion, because you're going to have to do that yourself overall. I'm going to push you a little bit, but the next steps always is going to be you. Now, are we truly free? Maybe, maybe not, but let's go back. We're talking about blind conformity. When you're talking about one of the 5 behaviors, the natural instinct to follow the group. Some people call it the bandwagon effect. Because they're doing it. And we see that with social media. We see this with marketing when they're trying to get people to what they would use the word social proof. The other part would be ceremonial reenactments. We're talking about religious. We're talking about legal and cultural traditions. If they can instill a cultural tradition on us, then that cultural tradition can be passed down from your children to my children. Well, your children, not my children, but to your children, to their children, to their children, to the next generation, to this. It has no end when it comes down to it. Now, I say this because this is something that happens. Superstitions and acts. We're talking patterns of behavior without logic. Then we're talking about obedience to, obedience, period. Unquestioning acceptance of laws, customs, and authorities. This is why this whole show exists, truth versus authority. When I got the epiphany a long time ago that we're dealing with our higher things here when it comes down to authority. Of course, there's bad authority and there's bad truths and good authorities and good truths. But at the end of the day, it is oftentimes we think authority is truth and versus truth being the authority. So our objective here is always is to shine light on truth. So let truth be your truth, and then it is your authority as opposed to everything else. But it's going to cause some rebellion. It calls for disobedience in the authoritative way, not so much disobedience in the natural laws. You can't get around that. You can't get around the natural laws, okay? That's something further on in the show that we will be talking about. So my question, and hopefully some of you will participate in this, is, are we truly free? Or are we just playing out ancient programming like robots? Somebody give me your interpretation on that particular question from there. And then we can kind of go into that. I'm looking at the chat. So once again, are we truly free, or are we just playing out ancient programming like robots? Now, hang on to your seats, because I know we're just talking about mind. We're talking about reptilian brain, but make no mistake about it, for you people that are understanding our DNA as a community, aliens, extraterrestrials, me being a UFO investigator, me being in 11 different TV shows talking about aliens, abductions, and UFOs. And then we get to a point where the conspiracy shifts a little bit. Then we talking about there's some other insidious things or beings, and then it gets into a whole nother level, but it all keeps going back to the Illuminatis, and it keeps going back to reptilian stuff. So this conversation is about alien stuff. You know it as reptilian brain. I want to now warn you and tell you we're talking about our reptilian DNA that somehow, some kind of way is embedded in our genetics because they were screwing with us from day one when it got here. Now, we was already here. Go do your story. Then you start finding out all of these powerful Anunnaki stories, Enlil and Enki, and how all of that DNA tampering became to a point where the serpent, the reptilian, is foundational in a lot of these things. And so I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news to a lot of us, but if you keep going down this route, it's going to contradict your religious background. It's going to contradict your Christian techniques or teachings. And I'm all in that Christian stuff. My mom grew me up from day one. So when I start going down this rabbit hole, and now it's an adventure, that things change a lot. So hopefully you all get understanding where I'm coming from when I say this. All right, so let's continue. If an esteemed scientist like Carl Sagan, anyone know who that is? And if you know who he is, you know he's one of the extraterrestrial things or whatever. What he said requires whatever extraordinary things require extraordinary insights. Of course, just tampering with what he said. But the other part of this, he acknowledged that the reptilian brain controls us. And he says, why is this topic never discussed in mainstream psychology? He talks about that. And when I got one of the main books here that I have is called Be Wise as a Serpent. This thing is $150. Okay. But it is one of the most comprehensive books. And the whole title of it, Be Wise as a Serpent. Now we can go to Christianity. It's in the Bible. It says, I think Jesus said it, be wise as a serpent. And I think it's something that's doves, correct me. So why would he say that? Why would that even be in the Bible in the beginning? But yet everything that we're told on the outside is to stay away from the serpent. But it's biblical. It's there. So when I start going down this rabbit hole, reading all these books, now David Icke takes a whole different agenda. He takes a whole different approach when it comes down to us being children of the matrix or the global experience and of conspiracy. But all of them goes down to the point that there is a reptilian agenda. And I think it should be worth all of you to begin to go look for that information as well. But stay tuned here because I got you, because I'm all in it. I'm all in it. So the reptilian brain and what we call the fear response. Now, this should be something we all should be familiar with. And you probably wonder why you do some of the things you do. Why are you doing this? Why do you act so aggressive? And it makes sense to why all of the beings from all these other dimensions telling us, man, we got to get y'all to get focused on love. Love it's important for you to focus on love. And I know there's a lot of you out here who say love is your priority. And how do we know that? How do we prove the point that it is? And how do you know, we know, or everybody know exactly, or should we do know what love is, right? Anyway, that's another story. That's another story. However, one of the things that they talk about is the fight, flight, and freeze mechanism, which is controlled entirely by the reptilian brain. We already know that exists. Now, once again, we're playing on the words. We're playing on the words reptilian brain, but they didn't just make that up. They knew where it came from. Otherwise, they would say we got a monkey brain, right? Or we have an elephant brain, or we have a lion brain, or we have a kitty brain, whatever. But why reptilian brain? Because something about this takes back to nature, and it all aligns up to some of these things. Now, the part of the brain that is constantly scanning for threats and reacting before logic can even process the situation. We all probably understand that there's things that we do before it even happened. How many people have broken off relationships because all of a sudden you just get this feeling that, oh, this is not going to be it. Instead of thinking it through, the reptilian brain causes you to react in a certain way, which most people say, calm the freak down. Calm down. Think about what you're about to do. Think about what's about to come out your mouth and everything else. But no, sometimes there's things that people are very aggressive, and we're aggressive out in the street. You can just, some places you can't even look at somebody. You got to keep your head down before there's a fight or a brawl, because there's something about triggering all of this negativity that the Matrix talk about, that all they want is us to be batteries or something important. So let me know if you following along. Let me know if we're going down somewhere, because we got a lot more to go here. And we got a lot more information to kind of bring into the forefront. And then toward the end, we're going to go, what did we do? How do we combat this? How do we work this thing out for us when it comes down to? So another part of this is, if it is decides that it can win, we're talking about the reptilian brain, then it's going to fight, right? When you look at something, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I can take this person. Then we're going to fight. If it think it will lose, it's going to run. If it's completely overwhelmed, it's going to freeze in fear. I like to tie that into personal relationships, because oftentimes if you think something, you can win, you're going to fight, but do we really fight? Why do we fight in some other areas? Why do we do and run, or things get overwhelmed that we are told not to let it stress us out, and therefore we don't fight for certain things because we don't want to be stressed out? Now, I'm not saying I'm trying to answer all that, but it all takes us down the hole of saying, okay, what is going on? So my discussion question that I'm going to throw out here is, if our fear responses are triggered before we can even have a chance to think, how easily can media, governments, and corporations use this against us? You get what I'm saying? How easy can they use this against us? And I'm gonna read the question again. I want some of you to participate here. If our fear responses are triggered, and before we even have a chance to think, and how easily can the media, the governments, corporations use this against us? How would they do that? Why would they do that? Why do we only see negativity on TV? Why do we only see things that trigger us to do certain things? How some people are always freaking triggered anyway. Some people are just aggressive as all get out. You can't even speak to some folks. Or once again, how do we take life on, and how do we handle these things? And it's all backing down to the reptilian agenda, and it all backs down to control, because there's illuminatis, there's all these different people. So this show would be one of a kind, because it's just going to talk about the basics of that reptilian brain. We won't ever go back into this. We'll go into some more stuff, but I think this should be a foundational share that at least open people's mind up to know why you act the way you act sometimes. And if you think it's just because you're so cool, or you think just because this person pissed you off, no, it's because you're fucking alien and you got reptilian DNA in you, or part alien. I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. And that's all right. I wasn't talking to y'all. I'm just talking to myself or the other aliens in the room. That's all that I'm talking to. I know some of y'all sitting here going,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I know. I felt it. I felt some of y'all saying that to me. I know. But anyway, let me continue. I think hey, listen, there's a lot of people in the alien don't even know it. That's all I'm going to tell you. So let's talk about the hidden truth and how this is used against us. And I'm glad you asked. However, if I told you that those in power, they do understand these triggers better than both of us, they better than you do and I do. And they have spent centuries, people. This is not something they just cooked up in a psych lab. Centuries to learn how to manipulate your reptilian brain. They knew they have to do this, because if you were a free thinker, as most of us think we are, then they can't control you. I'm not saying that you know all the lessons, and that's why we go deep into the monarch programming, because we've all been programmed since we were little ones and stuff. So once again, if they're manipulating our brain, if it's true, then fear is the tool that they use against us. And I know we might be thinking fear in some aspects, but it can come a lot of ways. Fear of losing your job, fear of losing a relationship, fear of not eating, self-preservation, hey, I don't have no food, when no food means no food to some people, but you meaning I just don't want to eat what's in the refrigerator, and it still causes anxiety, right? It's all of these things. If this is true, most of our reactions are pre-programmed. And if it's true also, then everything we believe in free will might be a lie. And why the power of free will is so powerful when it comes down to in a religious mode, when we are taught, but then once again, it's also blocked in some of these areas. Hang on to your seat, because I'm going to come at you. I'm getting ready to get down with you. Yeah, we're gonna hit this thing just right. And I see y'all having some good conversations in there, and pretty much. And that's one of the things. Brindy says that pretty easily because I think a lot of people are still under mind control hypnosis. However, there's been more people questioning things, so we're getting closer to the awakening as a community. I think that I could agree with you on that because we do have to wake people up. One of the things is question everything that you can, and question the narrative is what I will tell people to do. There's always been something, and that's where truth versus authority. I think you guys are going to get it. It's coming along. Some people don't even know why I call this truth versus authority. They don't really understand it, but it does go deeper because it's the mind, and sometimes often we think that the mind is in control, and it is when it's controlled by somebody else and some other things. And we're not just talking about multimedia. You keep going. You know, already archons, the entities and deities and all of this stuff. And make no mistake about it, this stuff is deep. It really is. And is it scary? Not if you start seeing it. Now, when you can recognize it, because then you can understand that it's not going to make you emotively unhinged once you find out what is happening and doing and all of those things. Which we talk about those things and going deeper and deeper in our inner circle, and especially uncensored areas, because there are some teachings that needs to be taught. And I told y'all last Thursday I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I know some of the stuff is not the best thing to be throwing out here in live world, because again, when you step on their toes, most of everybody don't get to walk away with all that stuff. So we will see. And this is reason why I focus on what's in some of these books, because okay, let me give y'all a method real quick. Y'all gonna call this Roderick is something else. Before I buy a book to read, in some cases, I make sure that the author is still alive. Because if he said it in his book and he's still walking, then I can repeat it, learn it, and tweak it a little bit. But if I'm reading 3 books and every one of them, some mysterious thing, then you won't hear me talk about that one. So that's the study. So anytime except for Jordan Maxwell, but most of all in these anonymous authors in this guidebooks, but I make sure I go do some background check first to make sure, because they're not playing with these folks. So the reptilian brain can override rational thought. Okay, we know this. Or scientists have said this. And when the brain kicks in, it overpowers the neocortex, the logical thinking part of the brain. We've seen people jump in front of stuff, or a mom may jump out and fight a tiger for her baby, or somebody say, okay, I'm gonna jump in front of a bullet when the exes are getting ready to have a fight or something, or that reptilian brain just steps in, and you'd be like, why the hell you do that? Why you jump in front of a gun, or all of these different things. And so you can best to believe that it's there and it exists. And this is why people lose their heads, man, in moments of extreme fear, stress, or anger. And it's still tied into aliens. I'm going to keep saying it over and over, because that's where the DNA come from. But keep in mind, there are some hidden secrets that can set all of us free, learning what we're not supposed to learn. Okay, so just know that's where we are going. Just know that's where we're going. That's where we're going to go. Serious Form said, did the landlord turn on the heat? No, the landlord did not fix the heat. We did get a heater a little bit, but let me just pull up the weather app, because it is 61 degrees. And when you're fluffy like me, at least 61 degrees. And there's just a lot of love in this body that can keep you warm when it's above 50. So we're above 50. So let's keep. And tomorrow's supposed to be 73. And so I'm smiling, t-shirt back. We're just, just lovely, lovely, lovely. And it was sunshine today too. All right. So the politicians, media, and thanks for asking, serious poem. The politicians, the media, and corporations understand it. So they create a crisis to keep the masses panicked and reactive. How do we change some of that stuff? So the discussion question for y'all right now is, if fear can literally shut down our logical thinking, then do we ever make rational decision in time of crisis. So how do we calm down for that? And if y'all remember, I've said this before in the Illuminati stuff, that the Illuminatis will go and try to find the Indian bloodlines and all of these people because they have more of a spiritual grounding, and they wanted to incorporate that DNA within their bloodline so that they can handle all of this stuff a little different. And so once again, it gets down to the DNA. So everything we're talking about is DNA. Everything is all DNA, right? And that's just exactly how it is when it comes down to what you're going. Jen is in the house with us as well. And yes, it's a nice day in Dallas. So the reptilian brain sees survival and power as status, to know this. And once again, and I'm going to keep reiterating the reason we're talking about this tonight, because this is the foundation so that you understand when we start going into all of this religious stuff and Illuminati stuff deeper and the reptilian stuff deeper, you will understand why we see things the way we see it. And then you can now, again, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. And when your mind now open, and when we keep opening it, and some people want to use the word wake, we're beyond that. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. In fact, there's going to be things in our upcoming shows. I'm going to start showing you some glitches in some of these shapeshifters things right in plain sight. And you may thought your TV was just messing up. No, it's the holographic stuff that their technology was glitching. Yeah, it's happening, man. It's there. Now that I've gone deeper and deeper, I see it more on TV, and I'm like, whoa, man, they're everywhere. They are everywhere. Okay. So I know you might be saying, this dude is nuts or whatever, but no, they're everywhere. And we just have to get, and if you think people telling you that the reptilians don't exist or there's not shapeshifters, then I'm just telling you, you need to look a little deeper because it's there. But anyway, I'll take you down that journey. Don't worry about it. I got you. So the survival mechanism isn't just about escaping danger. It's about dominating others. This is where it gets a little, flake a little bit, because there's people out of fear is going to try to dominate you. They're going to try to control you. They're going to try to control situations. Now, I put that on a low level of a relationship so you can start the comprehension of what I'm saying. But imagine politicians and businesses and people fearing the masses. They fear us. They fear us waking up. So now they have to go into domination mode to keep you down. Now, I believe that these situations have been happening for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so don't think that, okay, the times are changing to where, okay, it's just going to unravel. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of more stuff, but it's still going to take a lot more people working together to unsettle them. And this is why people cling to power, reputation, and intellectual superiority. It makes them feel safe. And that's one of the things that, and it's kind of funny because the aliens, when we talk about this, I'm going to take a detour here. We call it the muddy boot print theory, to where, you get an alien standing across from your house and you done turned on your security alarm because you see this shadow across the street, and he just kind of waves his hand and your alarm goes, it turns back, disarmed, green, right? And then you're like, what the hell? And then you turn it back on and go, and then, you may secure, but you wake up in the morning, you see footprints through the house, or boot prints, but yet you done secured the alarm. How secure are you? And that's their way when they fly over our nuclear weapons and turn them off. It's just, they can say, we're going to fly over your most powerful stuff that you have, and we're going to turn it off. And people are saying, well, they're just trying to give us a sign that we shouldn't use them. Well, if that's the case, they can just take them. They can just pile them all up, take them with them. But turning it off, the bomb off, or whatever they're doing, and letting us know they can control the most powerful thing that we have, that's a different message, people. A whole different message when it comes down to this thing. But anyway, that was just a detour. So I would just only say that, we'll go. All right, so let's continue down this road to say another part of this is a discussion question. When we threaten information, when threatening information comes along, they aggressively reject it and rather than process it. This is why this stuff works, because when we come down with information, especially stuff like this, or reptilians exist, our reptilian brains automatically dismiss it, right? And we begin to say, oh, no, I'm not believing that, or I'm not going to do that. And even though you should be just looking at it and asking yourself,
strange to you?
And a lot of people don't ask the question, don't that seem a little strange or whatever? And it'll take you down the rabbit hole, but they don't do it when it comes down to that. Lisa says, have you discovered certain blood types connected to reptilians? That is a yes and a no. And we will discuss that in another show that I am preparing. Okay. So, yeah, great question, though. Great foreseeing, all of that good stuff. And yeah, I know. Then everybody gonna cancel them when you find out you're a reptilian, and then be like, yeah, look at this. Here's the bloodlines right here, blah blah blah. And then they're gonna be like, we're gonna unsubscribe because I'm not a reptilian. I don't have no snakes in my body. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Oh, it's funny, but it's not okay. But here's the deal. Here's the whole purpose of where I'm going with this show tonight. Is maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe all of this reptilian DNA that goes back into the Bible, that goes all the way back to every freaking land on the earth, they all have some type of reptilian artifacts or something in our history. The serpent and blah, blah, blah. The medical world, the whole thing. And yet, biblically and spiritually in the Bible, it says, be wise as a serpent. Go read it for the scholars. Tell me, am I wrong? Is it not in the Bible? Why would Jesus say, be wise as a serpent, but yet the whole world tells us that it's the most evil thing that we can ever see, that person is a snake. Oh, he acts like a snake. Snakes would do this and snakes would do that. But yet the medical field, yeah, they use it. They know that that's their whole thing, but yet ancient civilizations and everything else, they're all pointing that way, studying this information. Yet we looking this way in all of that. So the question is that there? Victoria says, what are your thoughts on animals not controlling us now? Let me make sure I go here. What's your thoughts on animals not controlling us now? What can you go a little deeper with me on that? Just a little deeper. When you say the animals not controlling us, like who, what, which would, by the way, symbolism of Planet of the Apes, the reversal of stuff. So Jen says manipulation of higher knowledge to keep us away from it. Absolutely, people. That is their whole strategy. If you want to keep people, we've seen the Wizard of Oz. We all have seen the Wizard of Oz, right? What was their whole mantra? Was there something behind the curtain? But the symbolism in the movie, of course, we was trying to get a brain because people can't see. We afraid because people don't have no courage, right? What was that? The scarecrow, the brain, the Tin Man. Some of you don't have a damn heart. You can't love. There's so much symbolism in that, but we all being controlled about the man behind the curtain, the wizard, and because we don't know what's behind the curtain, to the dog Toto pull the curtains back, and then all of a Dorothy says, "Oh shit, it's a fugazi. It's a fugazi." Maybe that's where we are with this. Maybe that is something that we will look into when it comes down to that, and pretty much. But once again, these books. So I want you to look at this one. You can find this one on his website or go to eBay. This one is going to shock you because it ties the global conspiracy. But look, if you even look at the cover, and then you see in the dead center is a reptilian eye. That was just David Icke telling us, man, all of this stuff is there, when it comes down. This was another one of his older books, and it's all going back to the reptilian agenda. And all of that. And like I said, if you go to Amazon, you can probably get this one Jordan Maxwell, but he will show you some pictures. And the one book out of all of them, I didn't bring it in there, it's in my other bag, is The Best Dollar Mall. It's a little bitty $9 book, but it got more information about reptilians. I don't know about these big 1,600 pages over here that I got to go through, but I'm learning it because if there are secrets to be known, and there are secrets that we can harness the power, and then I can then take it through my daily affirmation that I ask for this knowledge, so that we can control, use, and whatever. I have a whole daily affirmation, but for me and the people that follow me, so we can then begin to take esoteric ancient knowledge to begin to harness the power for our families, ourselves, and everybody around us. We have to start accepting that that's our journey. We got to go into those areas so that we can grasp that information. And one area that they want, say the boogeyman, it is the reptilian area that we shouldn't go. But why not? And if the truth is, it's there. And pretty much we will do that. Jackie, is that Jackie, right? She says, Roderick, you bring the best information. Appreciate you. I appreciate you too. I love to hear appreciation. A man would just love to, hey, I appreciate you, thank you. Anyway, let me get off of that. Also, it says that we want to talk about is the council culture, online outrage, blind political allegiance, really, is it all really about ideology, or is it our reptilian brain fighting for dominance? They make us fight against each other for scraps or whatever. And remember the theory, a bone is just a bone, okay? And to two lions says one of them got to have it. And they make us fight over bones, but yet it's nothing. And yet we fight each other, and we fight all of these ideas and not the truth when it comes down to everything else. Now, I'm not telling you, and I know I get in trouble for this, that we're going to solve the problem overnight. I'm not saying that we're going to solve the problem overnight. It just can't happen, but we got to go inch by inch as a cinch. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And maybe over time, maybe it's generational. Maybe you're going to teach your children and their children, and they break it somewhere. But I will tell you now is the fact that we understand what is happening. We can go through the fight of what's going on. The reptilian brain creates illusions of security. This is really deep part right here, because this is where a lot of us, I think, go wrong, and we take things in the wrong, the other section, because the reptilian brain, it loves order, structure, and predictability. This is why people cling to religion and political systems and scientific dogma, even when those systems don't serve them. Let me try to say that again. All right, we have a super chat. Love your work, Roderick. Smoking that blue lily, which ET is worst grays or draconians. They work together. The draconians and grays are the foundational of all of this, so that are you going to have, I don't know. I did that before. I did an insect ET episode probably about a year and a half ago. I went through all of them. Yeah, you want to go back and check that out. Roderick is the true man of the people. Appreciate it. All right, so and then y'all need to share it too, because I got my report from YouTube but I would appreciate it, from YouTube this week, and we only had a few shares of the videos. Okay, so that means I'm not doing a good job. Share. I mean, I know I'm yours. I'm all yours, but share me. You know what I'm saying? I know that's kind of contradictory there. I'm all yours. I'm all y'all's, right? But share me, right? It's a lot of me. You can share a lot of me. I would love, we need to do some kind of sharing week where we just sharing. We got to get these things, this algorithm to know we exist, because it is definitely one of those deals from there. Sharing is caring. You got that right. All right. So, I mean, yeah, I'm shareable, right? Am I shareable? Am I not shareable? You know what I mean? Sound like Gladiator. Am I merciful? Am I not shareable? Talk to me. Yeah. All right. So the reptilian brain likes order and structure and predictability. If it uses predictability, in where most of us are kind of in a what's the word I'm looking at? Where most of us is kind of in a calm area because we can predict, then that's why we cling to religion, the political system, and the dogma. And when the beliefs are challenged, people either attack or ignore insights. I know when I strike a chord because people will attack. And although most things, 99.5, I'm gonna use that because sometimes I'm wrong, or 90%, you can go look it up because I'm taking context. I just may keep the time that you don't have to go spend to do it. I found it, right? And some stuff start coming, through connections and people and everything else. Thank y'all. People saying, hey, you're shareable. Galactic Distortion, Mr. Rob is my precious. Thank you. Thank you. Show the love. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, one day it's all going to be good. But I will say this I'm going to put it right here. Only thing you're missing is you. Okay. Right there. I just put it there. Yeah. Just lean over. Hey, anyway, to the ladies. Okay, guys, fellas, I'm talking to the ladies. Y'all get it. But my homies, my guys, we could go to Wakanda stuff, but now I'm finding out that it is a total secret society. We're going to have a whole show on that this goes all the way back. So that thing that everybody jumping around doing, it has some other implications. So we'll take that out of there for now, just now. But anyway, if our brain is hardwired for fear change, then is humanity truly capable of evolving beyond control systems? And then that is something I think is that's messed up. I want to hug. I got you. My birthday is March 10th, and I've been hoping. There's only been 6 or 7 people that is helping me with my birthday wish, turning my special 55. I was like, I know times are hard. I'm gonna say times are hard because, only if, and the link is in the description. And if anybody does, decide to, put toward the birthday wish. And all of us in Dallas, we're going to enjoy the wish anyway, but I will give some shout outs, and pretty much, but it's linked in the description. And I have a little video on what we're doing. But as of right now, it looks pretty grim that I'm going to be crying on my birthday because I'm already going to be by myself. And then I'm going to be like, oh, blah, 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 and not have any toys to play with, or, that would have been a toy too when you see it, when you go to the website. So, yeah. So, you be 55. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'll be 55 March 10th. So let me continue. And happy birthday to you. And we'll wish you a happy birthday on Friday when we're here. So make sure you come. Okay. So we'll do that for you. All right. So let's talk about why this matters before we get really deep into things here. And we will kind of do that. And let's kind of go. If this is true, then everything we thought with civilized behavior is just reptilian instinct, and we're carrying, and it's all masked, right? It's all masked with suit and ties that are controlling us. But this is why we talk about shapeshifters and everything else, and pretty much. So y'all, see, this is how I know. See, I can look and see how many people are in here. Soon as I start talking about my birthday, about 15 people jumped off and left. That let you know. They be like, I don't want to hear this. But they do come for the knowledge, though. They do come for the knowledge. But then they'll jump away, and then it just shows you right here on the screen, like, that's cool. It's all good, though. Yeah, there's a link right there in the chat too. All right, so let me continue so that we can go with more information as we do this. But here's where it gets really wild, because the same reptilian response isn't just about fear. It's all about status, power, and obedience. And people in charge, they're built this whole situation to keep things in place. And we're going to go into a deep dive. We're going to raise a little more questions of information so that you can understand what we need to talk about here. And then we may even open up if a few of you want to come and talk about not just what is happening, but how they're controlling us through our reptilian brain. If any of you want to challenge that thought, but either way, we're going to get in and out tonight as normal. All right. So if you thought this was intense as we talking about this information, and we'll get closer because the reptilian part of the brain isn't just about survival. It's about control. And all of these people in power, they're mastered the art of keeping you in a state of fear, submission, obedience without even us realizing it. Where do you think that this is happening every day? So if you think you have felt anxiety, what makes you anxious? What anxiety do you, anybody, if you don't mind sharing, and if it's not too intimate for you, what is anxiety or what causes you anxiety? Let's kind of go through this together. Let's put it there. Jen said, I can't challenge it, but I can call in and speak about the focusing on keeping us in lower chakra with survival and fear. I got to fix the call in thing. And I'm going to do that for Wednesday show. By the time Wednesday get here, it hooks up to the phone over there, and then you can call and then they can hear it through the system. I just don't know how to do it, or I haven't done it in a while. And we'll put that in there for show. But yeah, so is there anything that causes anxiety? Victoria said being around too many people. Okay, that's cool. Wife hates shopping and gives her anxiety. Okay, Sammy says wife hates shopping. I feel their energy. Cool. All right, so and sometimes being disassociative is one of the key factors of the system. They want people to disconnect, right? So being around a lot of people and be like, no, I don't want to do it. And being around too many people, I feel much. Okay. So, all right. I get it. So I would assume that some of you wouldn't be going to the movie theater or something. You'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. Clutter. Well, you don't want to come over here. Oh, good. Talk about clutter. Shit. You'd be like, woo, I'll send you to a mental hospital. You come walking around this office. You'd be like, oh, hell no. I got stuff everywhere over there. I mean, I know where it all is, though. It's organized from my viewpoint when it comes down to that. All right, so let's say that we want to look. We assume that fear is something we control. Let's think about that for a minute. Then we can tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined, and that our emotions, our stress, even our physical health are all personal choices. I don't think that that's something that we are dealing with. But if I told you that the reptilian brain make those decisions for you before you can even take a chance, that's how they control us. The reptilian brain does take over us in all of this. And one of the things, let me hip you to something. One of the things that why a lot of people get abducted, or humans, speculative, allegedly, is because they're doing genetic tests or whatever they're trying to do. It is already said that a lot of these species of extraterrestrials, especially reptilian control, they don't possess the consciousness that humans have when it comes down to love, and that they all strive for, because there is something, because even when you think about it in the animal world, a mother will raise her kids or cubs or whatever, but once that cub gets an adult, they're a disconnected, period. The father will eat them or whatever it would be. And that's that reptilian animalistic thing out in the wild. Nothing like humans, except for, I would say, primates, that will come back and say, okay, we're going to follow and keep with these humans. Or, well, how about it? Let me back up. We're going to take care of our families and keep a family structure of love, through generations. And there's not too many animals out there that'll do this when it comes down to this. Well, okay, you got killer whales, you got, some animals that will, but at the end of the day, they just don't do those things. And they know this when we get down. All right, so let's get toward some good stuff here. And the reptilian brain controls part of our bodies. It regulates breathing, digesting, circulations. Your emotional state can be manipulated to affect your physical health. They're doing this to us. chronic fear, anxiety, blood pressure, it keeps people on the edge, digestive issues, gut-brain connection, stomach, nervous, shallow breathing, fatigue, disease, burnout, government corporations. They profit from this. And I don't think a lot of people notice that. They particularly put these things out there so that we go through this. Big Pharma sells endless solution to stress. Then you have social media, keeps you addicted to stress. Then you got fear-based advertising that preys on your survival instincts. And then they sell the solutions and they're making money because they have to create these things. Imagine if there was no need for certain things because of fear or protection or anxiety or meds, or everybody just grounded and woke up like the tree of life, like Avatar or some crap, right? Imagine a life going down that road. It'll be totally different, but that's not the case here. But if you think about it, fear can make you sick. They know this. And then how much of modern health crises are actually being engineered. So I have a lot to go through from there, but I'm going to get into some of the primary parts of our conversation. And so we can kind of go into this. Apes will kill other bloodlines as well. Okay, there you go. The silverback gorilla will do such a thing. All right. So, all right. So let's go into a few things real quickly here so that let me pass over that. I don't think y'all need to hear that one. Then there'll be a little problem there. All right. So let's talk about how do we break free from this reptilian mind before we get out of here? Everything we uncover really leads us to this moment so that we can kind of talk about it. And then hopefully this particular show stay archived so that everything else from here on is going to be wild as it can get. Okay. Because I think for people to question the fact that you have a reptilian brain, you can go look at religious, you can go look at scientific stuff, all of these things. And you might just say, well, it's just in name, but it's definitely the theory of it all comes to a true fact when it gets down to this. And so that is something that we can do. But again, I'm just throwing this out here and making sure that this is something that we're going to be using as a foundational principle for the future of all this content. We can assume, once again, that we got free choices, what we believe, what we see. And remember, that it's all about mind control. It's all about the Illuminati. Why would they want to mind control everyone? When you got 5 billion people on this planet, and 5 billion people can overtake a few 100,000 or a few million, then the best way you can do is mind control all of the people so that you can get the masses out there. Yeah, we're going to have some people slipping through the cracks. We get it all day. We're going to have some people awakening all day. But even the awake community sometimes find themselves against one another. And I've already talked about that a lot. But how do we do this? So if we want to think about it, we need to find out who the puppet masters are. We need to look into and assume that our world leaders and billionaires, elites, are in control. And why wouldn't they be? Because they make money off the masses. Not one of them is not wealthy because of millions of people buying or using their products. So if they can make sure that stays intact, then their wealth stays intact. And so that's one of the things. But if they're also guided by their own reptilian instinct, then they're not any really different from us. So you got to think about that. We have reptilian instinct. They have reptilian instinct, and they're using it, but they have a higher esoteric knowledge that they're using to keep things there. And so that's something that you want to think about. Reckless Inspire says your show is so pleasant and interesting to watch. Thank you for educating us. Thank you. I appreciate that. She said, declutter yourself. It's healthy. I hear you. I'm not saying that I don't clean up. I just said if you walked in here now, there's clutter over there. But what is clutter? What's the level of clutter? So let's go with that. But thank you. One part about this is if they think about, are we just trapped in a primary power struggle for humanity. That is something that we have to think about and know that the elites, the global banking system. All right. So, for example, I think all of you would know that the IRS, right, Internal Revenue Service, we should know that that is a private corporation, right? Although they have control of everything else. We should know that our Federal Reserve, which is where all the gold money is supposed to be, is a privately owned company. How can a privately owned company hold all of the money? How could the IRS, who says they work for the government, but they don't, got control to take your money? Where did this come from? And why wouldn't they want to control this? Why is it when we're born that we have two certificates? You got a certificate of birth, and then you have a birth certificate. That's something for you to wonder. What is one for? One of them has value. One of them says that you're worth so much money that you have to work, control, and we want you to pay back money. You know, the slave of the institution. Why does all of these things are unquestioned? And then when you think about the Federal Reserve, go back and look at their history and their symbolism of the skulls and bones and all that goes all the way back to the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, they go all the way back there. That's their lineage. But now they're just more modernized. Why do we want to go back and we look at all the vampire stories and things like that to only learn that you know, from dragons and all that and bloodsuckers, because there's blood rituals and all of those things. Jen said, why is the name on your driver license in all caps in the birth certificate? Yeah, and I forget the all caps means it'll hit me in a minute, but George Maxwell talks about that as well. And there are so many things that we don't question because they got us so busy with anxiety and all of these things that we don't question the other stuff. You know, we don't care about what is happening. Now, is it going to change? Is it going to change those things? Is it going to change? But no, you may know how to use some of these systems, you know, when it comes down to it. I think when we start looking at the medical industry or our educational system, why is it? Why is it being controlled? Why are we told what we want our kids to learn or teach, or they're telling us because they need them to follow suit in what they're doing? There are just so many control mechanisms in place in real time. You know, media, you know, they create the movies that they want us to see. Are you creating any movies? Am I creating, you know, you get what I'm saying? They're creating our reality every day. You know, in what we see, our constitution of love. We see love stories in the movies and we say, I want that. But yet it's scripted. Your man and y'all ain't living like that. You get what I'm saying? It's scripted. Yeah, we got a 2-hour movie that show love in 2 hours, but yeah, fast forward 15 years in the movie, but you got to live that stuff. But who tells us that? You know, how do we go through that? Why do we have so much frictions in the households to where people are, you know, breaking up marriages and all these things are ending for the most one reason, I ain't happy. Well, if the system is designed to make you anxious and unhappy, and then separation, because the power of two can do a lot of stuff, then we don't look into that. We just think this person don't make me happy. And this person is part of the system that's causing this. No, we all are, you know, pieces of their control. And once we realize and begin to do that, you won't look at things the same anymore. You can then comprehend it when it comes down to this. And I think that it is very interesting that this stuff is very deep and that it goes further, but it doesn't make sense to most of us because it's not like, well, is that important? Or how big is that? Or where are we going with that? But I'm just telling you that we have to begin to understand that it's all put together to break us up, to break homes, to all of a sudden create negative energy so that they can use it for food. That is the scary part of all of this, is that we are being kept and we're being used, we're batteries, we are all of these things from creating negative energy. And then when we do find positive energy, our reptilian brain gets it, and then we say, I don't want nobody to take my energy. And then you isolate yourself, or we do things that we don't want to share positive energy. If you got energy, why not share your energy, right? That's why it's called energy. And energy don't never go anywhere, right? You know that. It just goes, it's a continuation. So you can give me positive energy and I can give you positive energy, and we can pass that shit back and forth and do something with it. But most of us take our energy and we harness it for ourselves, and we're not understanding it's not growing. Well, maybe you think so, but they designed it. And they designed to say, let's try to get this energy off. But if we all begin to move this energy together, then that is something that I think we could do, and we can do as a community and everyone else. Because you got to go back to ancient times. They moved stuff with their minds. Yeah, they healed with their mind. Obviously, our minds and energies are very powerful. But once again, as we get the energy, we store it. You know, it's like, oh man, go put that energy in a battery compartment. Don't let nobody suck your energy. I get it. You get what I'm saying. I know you got to protect your energy. But if that stuff is all power, the way you're going to do it, and you know how to harness more energy and more power, you can become a source of good energy for people. Oh, I know nobody don't like when I say that. What if you are a good source of energy? Maybe that's the greatest purpose in the world, that you become source. We all know what the word source means. We all know how deep this can go when you're talking about getting to the source. But what if it's you? What if it's, but yet we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We keep it all to ourselves, and I'm just saying, if it's all about energy, we need to find out why they're spending so much time to keep negative energy, keep us negative all the time. And so I would say to anyone, before you go off on someone else or whatever, find out, how much energy of negativity you putting out, or you're going to use positive energy to create negative energy so that you can tell somebody THI have it is. I don't know. I'm not a speaker of energy, but I will say there's something else about it, because in this book, this is one of my journals, Truth versus Authority Journal. Y'all see my name on it, Roderick Martin. When Courtney, she'll be here this Thursday, by the way, did my reading. Look at that purple one is me, but those are energies and spirits surrounding me. And, she can see all of that, and she paints this while she does the readings. And so it is great things to know that energy is everywhere, Jackie says, got to spread sunshine, smiles around the world. Sounds silly, but a smile can go. Yeah. And they know that. They know that you can smile at somebody and raise their energy. You can do a lot of these things, but sometimes it's a little difficult to smile at the wrong person, or they take it the wrong way. You smile at them, now they think you like them. And then all of a sudden, especially if you're in a relationship and somebody speaks and you look back and go, hey, hi, and then it can cause fights. It's crazy. So yeah, we have to figure out how to balance it. But yeah, it is something that you have to do when it comes down to that. And I think it's something that we can discuss. But let me give you some tips on how you can break the reptilian brain, how we can start this before we leave. If the reptilian brain is the oldest part of us, can we override it? Absolutely, we can, because it's the most primitive part. Meditation, we talked about that. Deep breathing, conscious awareness weakens its control, and understand that you are infinite conscious awareness yourself. in that you're just living the experience through these bodies. And if you realize that part, then you can get past them and understand how they cannot control us. They control in the body, and then some people have the body controlled in the mind versus the mind control the body. So we're infinite conscious awareness living an experience. At least I am, and most of you are, and all of you are really. We all want consciousness. But at the end of the day, they know if we figure that out, that they can't control us the way that they're doing when it comes down to this. Ancient civilizations knew this. This is why they developed spiritual practice, fasting, and higher conscious teachings, because they knew that if we're more than our physical bodies, we're more than physical matter. You know what I'm saying? And they knew that don't let them control you in the conscious world, and there's nothing they can do in the physical world. And so that's where it all begins. Most of us stay in the conscious world, and we think that's where the battlefront is. We got to go deeper within our mindsets and our minds and everything else. It is a wonderful thing, and I don't think any of us have this. And if you do, let me know. It's a wonderful thing if you're in a relationship and y'all practice this together. How many of you have this? I'm not saying you know it, but we're talking literally. Do you and your mate sit down, hold hands, close your eyes, meditate together? I ain't say pray. I ain't say pray together. Meditate together. Go through rituals, things that will keep you together like fucking glue. Do we really want it that bad? Can you sit down with someone that says, me, we're going to do this because you both know that there's bad energies out there? And so you practice this together. I'm not saying we love each other. Yeah, we can talk about it. I'm talking rituals. Who says? Kahara says she have it. Okay. Kahara. Is that a male? I mean, I'm sorry. He, she. I'm sorry. But I said female. But Carisha says yes. Scott says 20 years and going. Mary says not yet. I'm with you. I hear you. And I'm saying there'll be some people, and you know what I'm saying? Don't really think about what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you got two people that go to the spa. I'm talking y'all shut off everything, sit in a room, maybe burn some candles. You ain't doing nothing, tantra, whatever. You just sitting there with each other and quiet, and you know what I'm saying, and the right little bells and crystals and gong and the music and you just falling in love, not even saying a word, right? How many people got that? And that's something that you have to really think about if you have that. And then you can fight off some of these things. Because let me tell you something. If you think about it, how many arguments would you have? You're not going to fight over bills because the bills is causing anxiety. Both of you is not going to fight over it. You're not going to fight over what one person said and didn't do because you already know it's controlled by other stuff. You're not you get what I'm saying? You're going to probably get to know each other on a human level. But once again, will they allow us to do that? Would the systems allow to do that? Ogre says 6 years with my best friend. Okay, that's cool. Fire meditation, 10 years and still strong with the same beautiful girl, Galactic said. All right, well, that's cool. I mean, that's cool. And I'm saying if it works like that and you can find those understandings, then that is perfect, right? And that's all I've been trying to say. In some cases, when you do that, you can do those things. If you have not subscribed, we're trying to reach 25,000 subscribers, and and if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we can definitely do that. And pretty much from there, if you have not supported the channel, you can support us through our Patreon, which is Truth versus Authority. We have Courtney will be here this week. I got some good stuff reptilian stuff I'm gonna load tonight. A couple of videos, you might want to check those out. and pretty much see that. So yeah, I think you want to definitely do that. Yeah, and so again, it's all about love if we can think about those things when it comes down to it. And the more stressed, the more fearful and the reactive you are, the less likely you're going to ask questions and not wake up when it comes down to those. Another part of this is ancient civilizations knew it's why they developed those spiritual practices. But also today, we're bombarded with distractions, fear, and materialism, anything to keep us from awakening. And that is their main recipe when it comes down to this. And I think there's something that we can do. So we can stop consuming fear-based programming. The more you react emotionally, the easier you can be controlled. And again, that causes stuff in the house. It causes all this stuff. You can learn to recognize when you are being manipulated into fear, and not so much by the person that's with you or this person is evil. Let's see if we can see beyond those people and see what's pulling their strings, right? And see if all that can be cut. You can rewire your brain as we get ready to come to a close here. You can meditation. We talked about it, fasting, silence, weakening the reptilian's grip, because silence is something huge when it comes down to this. And again, you can stop reacting, start observing, train yourself to recognize when fear response is triggered. And then also spread awareness. You can wake people up, but only when they're ready. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's one thing about it. You got to make sure when the student is ready, the teachers will appear. Do you know what your strong name Roderick means? Well, you can share it. I knew Roderick was German ruler, but if you can go in a little more details, Olga, that'll be a perfect moment to do so. And I'll throw it up on the screen here. So again, I think it is how we interpret things in pretty much. So again, today's show was really about just talking about the reptilian brain. I hope that it serves its purpose to give you the underlying things that are happening so that you know they're after our energy. And I don't expect for it to be one of our good best videos, because a lot of people wouldn't understand when I say reptilian brain and DNA. They are just not going to comprehend it. They're not going to want to watch this video. They're not going to want to interpret what I'm talking about, because the association or dissociation between animal and man is a gap, right? When it comes down to it. But if we went deeply into these books and we went deeply into, what is happening in the religious side, then we can mess them up. I'm still a little cautious about that, but I think it is pretty much something to do it. It means victory. Okay, so she says Roderick means victory, fame, honor, name of kings fits well, I feel. Thank you. I figured that out some years back, Olga, when people used to call and say, "Hey, what's up, Rod?" R-O-D. And when I started looking up the meaning of name in Rod versus Roderick, I realized that I changed the projector of the meaning and the name my mom gave me, my father, when I let people shorten my name and shorten the whole, because we know words are spells. We know that words have meaning and power. So now I'm quickly to tell somebody, and they'll say, Rod, Big Rod. I go, no, Roderick. Now you want to put Big Roderick together, you can, but still use Roderick, it's totally there. But yes, that is the case. And I do appreciate it when it comes down to this. And that is something that, again, that you have to so be careful when allowing people to butcher your name. If if it has some meanings. Now we all can acquire whatever names we want, right? We can do those things. But yeah, I realized that years ago. And then ever since I taking the identity of who I am. Now, let me pause for a minute for all of you to know that we all are infinite consciousness. Okay. So that I am living the experience of Roderick. Let me make sure I give you this real quickly here. I know the meaning of Roderick, so I make sure that I'm going to live the experience of Roderick. But we all infinite conscious awareness, so to speak. And within this body, I have decided. This is why it's so important in plain sight when I told people that I'm going to change my conscious or physical reality, right in plain sight. And I have been doing it. But some people can't really recognize because it's in real time. But there's people who come back from here from 6 months, a year ago, and they're going to see my conversation shift. They're going to see my outer body have changed. My energy level has changed. They're going to see that conscious reality that I chose to shift. So you can do this. It's just that we look at things in infinite time, because we only know time as in 24-hour clock, but the time doesn't exist that way. But if you think in conscious awareness, is all knowing, all seeing, and all of the omniscience, it's forever, then we got time to become better. And that also is patience when you're looking at people in a relationship too, right? That's a whole other story. But where I'm going with this is that, so you take the name, as she pointed out, and all of that, and you begin to understand what is filling that cup, what energies are going into this this body experience of Roderick, right? And how do I get a better situation from it? And so now I'm in a process. Okay, I'm going to change all this. I want to do better for this and all that. So Jarrell says God will uplift. Great. Olga says we as a soul give it to ourselves for a great reason, and then this is the magical sound in our body. Speak it out loud. Yeah, and I'm learning all of this. And it's the wonderful thing, because you do want peace in your life. You do want all of these things. I'm not trying to be combative, but some days my reptilian brain kicks in. Y'all have seen it here. It really does. And then there's days that the love kicks in all of these things. But I do think that it is time for us to realize. So all of you, and then you could choose your name, and we won't get into to do the numerology of all that. I'm not into, well, I know it, but I don't study it. King Simon and all that is the bomb for that. Okay. You want to go learn some numerology, go find King Simon and book something with him. He'll tell you some stuff about your name, your date of birth, all of that stuff as well. And he will pretty much do that. So with that being said, I love you, right? I love each and every one of you. I really do. I love what I do. It's not a day go by that I don't how to figure out better. I beta test everything. I beta test this type of conversation or this stuff. How deep can we go over here? What do you want to hear? What do they don't want to hear? What am I wanting to teach today, or do I just want to talk? Do we want to, and because of the love that I have to do what I do, and I think it's a wonderful, wonderful job or assignment or servitude to be here serving you at what I do. And this is why I try to have fun with what I'm doing, but I also know the severity of it. And I also know the circle and the people that I get energy from, because I'm transferring that energy from them to you, because the energy never loses or go away. You know that, right? It's moving constantly. But at the end of the day, it is one of those things that we do. So you all confirmed to Regina that we do see her, all caps, Texas. So we love you too. But I got some we love you. Okay, so Reckless Inspire said we love you. Thank you. Jackie says we love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Scott said we love you, big dog. All right. Yeah, and yeah, y'all. Everybody, make sure y'all that Regina know we see her text. Just all of y'all, just so she know. But the whole point is understanding this, and this is why I asked and said, "Hey, let's share, let's do this stuff," because once we get more views and more advertisers, YouTube funds the show because they're making money off our content. But it's going to start taking some of you to, after this video is over, to go in there and start typing comments. I've been trying to answer as much as I can to get the algorithm up, or I got to figure out a way to create shorts and shareable content to begin to do this, which is another reason. Let me just tell y'all a quick story. One of the reasons that I wanted the birthday drone, and if you look at the title, and if you took the time to go from the 8 people who have, or 7, and I just love the mighty 7 has done. 7 is a lucky number, but maybe if it was 77, we'd have been done by now, right? But that's cool. I know times or whatever, but your time of being here is enough present for me. And if I'm not doing anything on my birthday that Tuesday, we're going to be right here. I think that's Tuesday, and we'll be doing what we're doing. But anyway, when I started to get in better movable, and I've always been mobile, right? But I'm saying, okay, if you're going to climb up some rocks or whatever, you're going to go visit all these different places. Then I was like, let's create outside content. What if y'all saw me on the street talking to people about reptilian stuff, or at the park meeting and doing things, or we're out going to churches and uncovering secret symbolism and all of these things? Then I thought about it as a whole content creation. So last year, if y'all remember, if you were here last year, the audience came through. We got the little DJI Pocket. I got it. I got some stuff I've been filming. I got to start uploading it. And that was perfect. So the final part was, this last piece was, okay, let's get some aerial stuff. And then we got the Dallas group we're going to be getting out. That's the only reason I put that up. And fortunately, like I said, that we can do that. Yeah. So our birthday is March 10th, is on a Monday. Okay. So if it's on a Monday, if nothing is going to be going down, then I'm going to be right here. Somebody said I dropped. Okay, so y'all hold on. Scott says it is now 9 people. All right, so there it is. Okay, so y'all give Scott and Crystal, oh, y'all so cute, and Jarrell tonight. You know what? I'm gonna be so smiling right here. Okay, so we have Scott, Crystal, and Jarrell there. Man, I appreciate it. And then we have Valerie. Y'all give, oh my God, okay. And then I didn't see that while we was talking today. Thank y'all so much. You know what? I got y'all. I got y'all. Y'all got me. I got y'all. He says, well, Jackie and I make 2 together. Okay, well, cool. Hi, I'm a long-term listener and first-time commenting. All right, so Rosanna, so anything in particular you want to comment on, since you're a long-time listener? And let me tell you something about that, Rosanna Burton. I listen to a lot of talk radio, and there was a time that I wanted to do talk radio. And one of the dreams that I had was that somebody was going to say, hey, Roderick, I'm a long-time listener, short, first time coming in. And then I'll be like, all right, yeah, you hear on Truth Versus, well, now I'll say Truth Versus Authority Radio. So I appreciate you. Now let me know I'm in the right place. We're doing what we're doing. Yes, I appreciate it from there. So yeah, y'all give a, Yeah, we want to high five all of you, pretty much. And yes, we're gonna do this, especially for those of you in Dallas. She says bonnet time. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so if if we bring some people up, we can do that, or we can get on out of here. I'm finished with what we're going to talk about tonight. Tomorrow, I think I will be live on Forbidden Knowledge. We'll be doing some stuff, and then pretty much so. All right. So again, make sure some of you guys get this book. I know a couple of them is going to start helping me do some other research. Oh, I know what I need. All right. Listen, I want to do a Google Drive and give people access to Google Drive. Now, I'm going to put a Google document up. And all I want you to do is put your name in a little line and then links. We need to find everybody out there that's talking about Illuminati's secret. If you see some young person that you know how they getting it and all that, I need us to start adding these links because we need to get them part of our show. I have this dream. We got to start collecting the collectives. Because we put all these pieces together, we can get a generational view of what is happening. If any of you are into that, we can do and say. Rosanna says, I believe that reptiles are good. That's probably. And probably not. So let's go with half truths and truths. Okay. We can definitely think about that in pretty much. A lot of you, I will say this though, I'm going to say this. Some of you, if you bought anything from the Truth versus Authority store recently, like a shirt or a hat or something, check your mail because I sent out a lot of gear this week to a lot of y'all. Some hats and shirt, just to thank some of you. I was like, so if you bought from the Truth versus the Authority store in the last few weeks, check your mail this week. I've sent, and I was surprised because Thursday night in the private area, I told everybody in there, hey, if you want a free hat or something, send me. And only 2 people sent, and so I just went on and sent them all out to everybody else. I was like, okay, let me just send some hats and shirts and stuff out. So a lot of you who placed orders, we will be getting some orders, but check your other bags because the love of Roderick will be stored on you. You will see one of those things, and pretty much. Hey, we got my guy Rob G in the house. Social Dig, man. We're talking about reptilian stuff here. Let me put something in here. All right, so I just put a link there, Rob. If you at your computer, hop on in here real quick. Let's talk about your show and some good stuff real quick before we go. Yeah, so I just put a link for Rob. I put a link for Rob, okay? So if y'all don't look like Rob down here, I'm not going to click it, okay? So cover your face up, and then you be like, you Rob, then you making fool us. And you got to talk like Rob if you're going to fool us. But if you ain't Rob, and I don't, you know what? We'll see if you can, play like you Rob when you come on up here. Okay, Gian is back. I love that. Yeah. So anyway, there's a link there if you're available. Come on in here a little bit. So again, I wanted to put these up here. Start looking into the David Icke stuff. Okay. I need you to look into that. I think some of us, Jen and a lot of us, is reading the 13 Illuminatis. This here, be wise like a serpent. I've offered to put it in the private area. No one said nothing about it. It's $150, but if you want it in the uncensored area, I have a PDF. I can put it in there, but not one person said nothing. So that's cool. Anyway, go and get the Jordan Maxwell on Amazon. It's a real quick, simple read. He got a lot of pictures. I like pictures. So he got a lot of pictures there, and pretty much. Go and you got the Secret History. I just got this one today. and pretty much to do that. Yeah, but be wise as a serpent. That thing is probably, I don't know. The PDF is hundreds of pages. So this is probably the most comprehensive book, and this prior to the 13 Illuminati bloodlines, but he goes into the Disney program, the Monarch programming, but it also teaches you a lot of stuff there. But if y'all got access to the membership there, this one is going to have a lot of scriptures. It's really deep. I got the audio version too, Flying Serpents of Dragons, but it teaches you a lot. Now these here, Jen, I'm thinking about putting all this sugar honey iced tea in the mail for you, and so that you can do us some summaries. I know you'll read all this, Jen. I bought these things. There was hundreds of bucks, but this is a 1,600 page on everything you can think of reptilian, from the dragon, Leviathan, whatever. This is probably out of my league to be trying to read. But I may just box this up and send them down there to you. And then when you finish, you can send them back. But more likely, that's what I'm going to do. But I want to, so you can, put it up content-wise for what we need to do. So this thing was hundreds of bucks. But, yeah. She talking about a weekend. It'll take me 4 months to read all this shit. That's why you need to have it. Yeah. So we need to do that. Talk about a weekend. Fun weekend. Shit, it'll be 4 or 5 months before I read that. I'm a study another night trying to figure out how to read fast and stuff. And the AI told me, you can read 300 or whatever minute to read 400 pages or whatever. In 30 minutes, you read, 1 hour. Man, I probably finished in about an hour, and I wasn't even a third. I'm like, either I'm super slow, like special ed slow, or I'm just a slow reader. So I kept reading. I was like, hey, let me go through this stuff. But anyway, I knew the he's talking about you brainiacs reading. I should have told the AI that no. I'm a pictorial reader. And pretty much from there. But like, I don't know. Shit, I sure was trying to do it. All right, let me check again in case anybody else jumped on the birthday thing. Okay, well, we stop at Scott. That's cool. But I do, man, the love is there, and I appreciate it. It is my biggest dream to accomplish this birthday wish. Let me tell y'all, I spend 5 hours today, 4 hours yesterday, just reading, learning everything about this little drone, watching videos. I ain't lying. I've been doing all this stuff. I've been like, let me try to figure this out. And so we got 12 supporters, and we are 24% away. 24% of the goal. And I promise to God, I will, man, I'm going to get out there and get us some content. We're going to change our whole game and everything else. All that. I'm manifesting it, Jackie. I'm droning this bad boy into the manifesting. I ain't had no toys in a long time, but this is also, I call it again my freedom tour because I want to get out. The last 4 years I haven't gone anywhere. I went to Miami to the Conscious Awards. I'll be down there again this year, and then I've been to filming in Colorado, different places for the TV series, California, different stuff. So I've been doing those things, traveling, but I want to kind of at least get into the Star Cruiser. Maybe somebody say, hey, we got some symbolism down here in Louisiana. We drive down there, get a couple of us, and we got to get out. We're gonna have to take the streets for the symbolism and really take to the street and get beyond this podcast. Just being here. But yeah, we definitely gonna do that. Yeah, Mount Shasta. Yeah, we can come around. We can move anywhere. We can do a lot of stuff there and pretty much. But Diana said my drone is on the way. Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to have that booger fly in here and pretty much. I have been really excited about that. And then when I realized, I said, well, I need some help to get this thing. We already fighting the electric guy. Well, we took care of him. He's go away, but we got him. We're good. All right. So there's anything else we need to cover? It is Monday. We've been here an hour and 30 some minutes. I will clip the back end of this out. So if you come back and watch it, some of this stuff will be clipped out because we're chatting and give the people who come in and watch. We should have a hookup if you come to Mount Shasta. Where is Mount Shasta? Anyway, what city or state or where is that? I don't even know where it is. Yeah, I don't know where it is. But anyway, yeah. So Scott and so Jackie and Scott, are y'all the same? Two different? I mean, the same people here? Oh, Scott and Jackie are the same. Yeah. Well, he said that, but I didn't think about this Jackie. Scott Nichols and man, that's a wonderful thing. If we have, a husband and wife, you guys are watching, and you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you all. And then we have Charles and his wife, the Davises, and all of that. That is just a cool thing. She said, yes, this is me. Well, thank you. Well, thank both of you. Thank you. I mean, thank you for both coming in agreement and saying, hey, we're going to, and it says, thank you for your wisdom, true love, hearts, big dog. And Jackie says, keep shining. Thank you. I'm blushing. I really am, pretty much. And hopefully someday, I mean, I do plan on being married again someday. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe, yeah. I do. I think so. It's a tall order, man. You know what I'm saying? It really, my hat's off to all of you who make that work, and I would learn from you all and from everyone. I think it's a special thing. Redding, California. Okay, well, that's cool. California it is. Well, what happened to Rob G? He didn't get my little text to come on up here with us or what? I guess not. I was waiting because he didn't come down in the thing here, so he left. All right. So let me start back into. He said, Max. Well, let me tell y'all something. I've been looking at Hawaii to live, or Miami, Hawaii. It's got to be someplace where it's warm, tropical year round. I am so fed up with this Texas stuff. Or either I'm gonna have a crib here and somewhere else. But I was looking at Hawaii the other day. They got places in Hawaii. Yeah, you paying a few $100,000 for probably maybe 1,000 square feet. Bathtub is outside. Whenever you got a bathtub outside that's sitting under a bush, but it's a bathtub, and that you can take bath year round outside. He says, we need to hook up. I have a podcast with my friend. Well, what's the name of the podcast? And then also take my email and then I'll reach out to you. Contact@whythebigsecret.com. Give me a telephone number, please, sir. And I'll reach out and call. Oh my God, I'm tired of DC, MD, VA. Yeah, I mean, all right, Mars. We're just gonna get us someplace tropical, all of us. A bunker in tropical weather. Those are the two things we're after. But yeah, Scott. So contact@whythebigsecret.com is my email address. Or Rod@roderickmartin.com, my name. I don't put that out there as much, but it's the Rambler Soft and Round Table Podcast. Okay. Well, email me. And then so we need to, and what are y'all topics of discussion as well? That'll be cool too. And we can do that. All right, yeah. So contact@whythebigsecret.com. And like I say, put a telephone number, and then that way I don't have to respond and then say, what's your contact number? I can just reach out and call from my number. And it'll be a 972 number, 916. Yeah. And then those 4 numbers after that. So just look for that. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Maya. So yeah. So that's the email address. And then I will call, but just let you know when you see the 972-916 number, then it'll be me calling from Dallas area, and pretty much. All right, so do I need to give a shout out to anyone else? Any Ferris Bueller, anybody else that's going to The link is in the description for my birthday coming up in a few days, March the 10th. Now, come March the 10th, if we're not close, we're going to have an all-nighter. I'm not leaving until we reach this. I won't care. I'll be sitting there crying. I'll be like, okay, I'm whatever. We'll be there all day. I'm telling you, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to do a video. Because every day we're getting closer, or the dream, and pretty much. All right, so we can do that. Yeah, I'll be crying. All right, so with that being said, I guess I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I appreciate each and every one of you, and like I said, get you some reptilian knowledge. Real quick, again, tomorrow, like I said, I'll be on Forbidden Knowledge. We'll just be talking a little bit there. Then we'll be back here Wednesday. And then Thursday, Courtney will be here for sure. You know, she was sick last week. I'm going to load some clips of some reptilian shape-shifting malfunctions in the thing by morning. And some New World Order stuff will be in the Patreon by morning or the next day. So definitely look those up. Any special requests, hit me in the Patreon. We have access to videos and books and all of this stuff. I'll send it to your link directly or put it in there for everyone so that we can blow that thing out and continue. But anyone that want to participate in the knowledge, or not knowledge, but our circle of gathering, whatever we want to call it, I'm gonna put a Google Docs up, and I'll give each one of you access to the docs. So I'll need your Google email. Anytime you're on social media, you see somebody, not the clips that you go to one of their social media pages where they're just posting clips, but if it's the person talking, that person is talking, young, old, it doesn't matter. If they're talking about symbolism, if they're talking about illuminati stuff, if they're talking about reptilian stuff, all those little things, and then I need those links because I need to reach out to these people. I'm trying to create a whole alliance of folks if we can do that. So again, contact at whythebigsecret.com if you're interested. And all I want you to do, please, it would be so if I got 10 of you, 20 of us, 10, just say 10 that are contributing. And like I said, you just put your name on a little thing, and I'll put an example there, just write your name. And then every time you come in and post a link, just post a link to that Instagram page, or well, mainly Instagram. I don't know about TikTok. They're a little different, but Instagram. Then somebody else, if you come in, put your name, then everybody will start putting stuff under their names. And then we can compile a list of all of those people. And we can do that. Regina says, all kinds shape-shifting on my cat's hair all the time. Take pictures and pictures disappear on my phone. Just saying that, teaching what's up with that. Huh. All right. So there's the email again right there. And Scott said he'll email his phone number too. But yeah, if you want to get on that part, make sure you email, and then we can do that as well. I'm gonna keep harping on that because we really need to put that into action ASAP, and I mean ASAP. All right. With that being said, it's been a plum, pleasure, and pleasure, as well as a privilege. I love each and every one of you for sure. To my haters, if you're hating on me every week, like I said, you're a fan. You're just critical, and there's nothing wrong with being critical as a fan. We do have journals. I haven't put them up on the website that you can put your own name and whatever you want. You know, some little journals. That's leather. It's real nice from there. No, don't go. I'm missing something. What are you missing? Serious Forms. We talk about everything ramblers. Okay. So Serious Poem says, don't go. I missed something. What did you miss? Let's see. Wait, what did I miss? Are you asking what did you miss? Well, if you left and came back, then you just missed some stuff. The mail, who is for? Oh, the email is for, all right, so I'm going to put up a Google Doc is what I'm doing. And then I'll put everybody email so that they have access to this doc. What I'm wanting is everyone to, if you are on social media like Instagram or whatever, and you know how you get those little clips or, some of these young folks or people, they're describing some symbolism. Maybe they're talking about reptilians. Maybe they're talking about the Illuminati, all of these things. I want people to begin to add their links in there because I'm going to reach out to these people because I want to put a conglomerate of people together. So when we keep doing different shows, we start bringing all of these people about on what they're saying. And then our eyes and ears are everywhere. We're very luminous, right? So if you want to, I would like to offer the community some healing. All right, Victorious. If my email address is contact@waterbigsecret.com, please, I'm saying everyone, it is so difficult if you don't give me a contact number in the email, because then I got to email back, say, hey, this is such and such, unless you don't want to be called, period. But if we're going to do something with the community, Victorious, please, email me, put your telephone number. I'll call everybody tomorrow. I'm up late at night. So if you up late at night, then I'll call your ass late at night because I'll be up. But I'll call everybody. And then we will put things away and together. But yes, we need community healing. We need all kinds of stuff that we need to do, and we'll do it in our uncensored area so that it's a little more organized and we can do that. So, all right, Giants topics. We recently started our podcast. All right. Well, Scott, if you put your number, I'll call you tomorrow. You tell me what time you'll be available. I wake up around crack of noon, but after that, I'm up, and so we can do that. All right. So is that everything else? We all good? Everybody, we good? All right. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get out. And again, thank you, Jarrell. Thank you tonight to Scott and Jackie, Nichols, Jarrell, Valerie. Y'all give Valerie a huge hug. She said you deserve it. Thank you, Valerie. Maya, of course. So tonight we had Valerie, Jarrell, and Christy. Thank you. Meemaw. Thank you. And Scott. So we have 4 people tonight to add to the other people. So now we have 12. Thank you. And love it. So yeah. So anyway, y'all thank each and every one of them tonight for being there for my birthday. So again, the link is in the description. You can read it, and let's get there. All right. Good night, y'all.
Peace and harmony. I think we're being set up for something very serious and very big by some very powerful secret societies that very well could have extraterrestrial or otherworld intelligence guiding it. I am very fearful for the world we live in because we bought it hook, line, and sinker, and all over the world we have accepted the authority as truth rather than truth as the authority. It is going to require intellect, knowledge, study, and making a stand for the first time not to accept the things which your government gives you, which your religions give you, and which the authorities give you. Because as far as I'm concerned, I have a very big problem with anyone called an authority, because they're always...